This story comes from the PalmBeachPost.com. Holy hell, the dangers in rising religious exemptions to school vaccinations in Florida. Now, I grabbed this story, Cecil, because the juice in the heart of this story isn't COVID, but it also is 100% COVID.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that the overall vaccination rate is plummeting in places that sowed fear about the COVID vaccinations. Florida is the perfect example of that. And so it's not just that people aren't getting the COVID vaccine. Now people aren't getting all of the vaccines or any of the vaccines, which is going to cause measles and mumps and rubella and typhoid and typhus or typhoid. I forgot.
I don't know.
Like the number of diseases that are still floating around out there. Polio, for God's sake, is back. You're going to have kids getting fucking genital warts and cervical cancer that don't need to get it because they're going to avoid Gardasil. Like, we are talking about a panoply of disasters that could all be, we've never faced them. We have not faced these in generations.
There's a packet of vaccines that you get that protect everybody, right?
Yes.
That's not just you, it's everybody.
Yeah.
And you get it so that everybody around you won't be able to get it too, because they're all protected. And maybe one or two of them who couldn't get it because they had some sort of immunocompromised thing going on. Or maybe one or two people back in the day had a crazy parent who wouldn't let them do it. Maybe that happened. And we still got by herd immunity, and we still got by. But with this new introduction of COVID vaccine hesitancy and, COVID vaccine denial, you're talking about vaccine denial, and then, the blatant lies that have been coming out. And then you have this guy who's the attorney general down there, not attorney general, the Surgeon General. General. Yep. Attorney General's a different guy.
Yeah.
He does different
if he's in
stuff.
Florida, he's equally useless.
Admittedly, both of them are equally qualified to tell you about vaccines, the Attorney General or the Surgeon General. Because the Surgeon General's been he's been pushing vaccine misinformation since the beginning, and he was handpicked by DeSantis. We're in this position now where even in our area, recently I hurt myself and I had to go to the emergency room, and I cut myself, and they had to give me a shot, and they were really cautious about how they talked about. They're like, when was your last tetanus shot? And I was like, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't even remember. And they're like, well, we might have to, we should probably give you like the tetanus shot. You should probably get, I'm just like, give me the tetanus shot. Like, I was like,
sure.
What is happening?
I don't
like,
give a shit.
Why are we talking like this? Like, what? They suddenly like lower their voice, and they're like leaning in real close. Like, we should probably and I'm like, what the fuck? Where am I? Just shoot me with whatever. You're the one in charge. You're driving. Just do what you got to do. But it's like there is this situation that we're in now where they recognize that it could be a possible explosive moment in the ER if they say, well, we're going to give you a tetanus shot. You're going to give me a what now?
And then they're going to put their
vaccines. I ain't doing no stupid shots. You ain't putting no stuff in me. I'm a pure blood. But they seriously, Tom, not even kidding. They drop their voice and slowly and calmly explain. And I'm just like, it's a tetanus shot. Yeah, I want one. I don't want to get whatever it is that I don't want to get. Let's just move past this.
I don't want lockjaw.
Yeah.
That. I don't want fucking lockjaw. Give me all your tetanus shots.
But even up here, even in a place where, you would hope, because, Illinois has been doing pretty good when it comes to vaccines, and, you wouldn't expect that sort of thing. Even up here, that's what's happening. Because there has been this weird thing happening in our culture where vaccines have been a lifesaver for decades. And now they're something that not everybody is down with. Now they've somehow read an internet site one time and they're 100% not down with it. That's how they make their decisions. That's how I make my decisions in life. Life or death decisions in my life get made by reading one website. That's how I do it.
It is a truth that literally several generations now of research and development on vaccines and the work that's been, it has unraveled itself in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
In 2.5, almost 3 years.
You're absolutely
That is how
right.
long it took. We have caused ourselves decades, if not generations, of damage, and that damage will be felt in disease and death and disfiguring and horror and pain and suffering. That is the price we will pay. And we paid that price. Let's not mistake why we paid that price. We paid that price so a small handful of self-serving politicians could keep their hold on power in the midst of an international crisis.
Make no mistake, that's exactly what it's about.
Happened.
Yeah. And they fed on the fears that were fed for years on parents who were terrified that something could happen to their children, that something bad could happen to their children. And they were so terrified that by blown up, exaggerated, crazy numbers that literally never happened, that they were terrified enough to not just put their child at risk, but to risk lives of other children who cannot benefit from those medicines. We've fed on that for too long. We've made too many decisions, public health decisions, personal decisions, and that's the wrong way to go.
You're exact. You know, it is a mutually exclusive statement that public health is a matter of individual choice.
Yeah.
That is not mutually, that should be a mutually impossible and mutually exclusive statement. We do ourselves as a society a disservice when we insist on this hyper individualistic bullshit. And this hyper individualistic mentality. We live in a society. We have an obligation to the public. We have an obligation to the society that we live in. We sometimes have to make choices that are not individually the choices we would make for ourselves in order to protect the well-being of others. That's literally what being in a society is. It's why you can't drive whatever speed you want. It's why you can't blow red lights. It's why you have to obey. It's the reason we have any laws at all. They are implicitly a recognition of the obligations and restraints on the individual in order to live in a society. It is insane to me that we all of a sudden rein that in full stop when it comes to public health.